All right. So, Ralph, what we're going to do right now is we are going to, I'm going to show you the Therapeutic Sun Salutation that I use to help individuals learn how to move their body, how to assess their own movement, as well as to help people get down onto the floor and get back up. So we're going to start on our yoga mat. So come on over. You're going to stand about right here, which I call about a third of the way from the front of the mat. What I like to do when we first start is I like us to take an awareness of your positioning and standing. You're already familiar with mountain pose. You're familiar with a neutral position, right? I get a little bit more nitpicky, not because this practice is about perfection, but it's about awareness of what might be close to neutral and what then might be good, what might be slightly out. Muscles, muscular restrictions, and or there are things that kind of are habitual in our day that get us into certain patterns. So right now, as you look down to your feet, I'm going to ask you to bring your feet to the width is good, but bring them to parallel. So notice, good, there you go. And bring that right foot in a little bit more, good. And now as you're standing, mouth closed, breathing through the nose. In our work, as I mentioned earlier, the only thing that you have to do is breathe. Everything should feel good, relatively. Muscles may get tired, joints should never hurt, unless we have a specific reason for that, and then we talk about that at another time. Right now, as you're standing tall in the beginning of Tadasana, breathing, I want you to notice the weight bearing. I want you to notice if there's evenness or relative evenness between the ball of the foot, or what we call the metatarsophalangeal joint, the place where that bend is, and the heel. And as you're standing tall, I want you to look at something ahead of you, something that's not moving, to focus your attention on while you're breathing, gently, normal, no fancy breathing. And as you're standing, I want you to breathe and lift your toes up as high as you can. And notice as you're lifting them up, breathing. Did all of your weight go back into your heels? Can we keep it relatively balanced? Breathe. You're here, when you're doing the lifting of the toes, that uses the muscles in your lower leg, front and back, that help to support the muscular arches. So now keep breathing, we drop the toes down, and I want you to stretch the toes out so that we move away from being in a clawed toe position. We want to just give them space. Now as you're standing, I want you to notice the knees. As you're breathing, looking at something that's not moving, gentle bend of the knees, just enough. Now, Ralph, during our work, I'm going to place my hands on you, and if at any time,
totally fine.
All right, if it feels creepy or whatever to say the word, it's really hard to offend me.
No, I ask the same thing before I touch anything.
Good. So now as you're standing tall, there's a little bit more bend in that right knee, and I just want you to feel that presence of connection. Engage the thighs a little bit, lift the torso, the shoulders gently come back a little bit, and they move down. And as you're looking directly at something that's not moving, imagine that someone with the foulest of breath was right in your face. And so if we pull this back, then we're not breathing, that's too much. Just enough where the breath is still moving. Now as you're standing tall, we're going to begin the Therapeutic Sun Salutation. I'll do it with you, I'll kind of show you, but for the most part, just breathe. You ready? Let's go. Inhale, reach up. As far as you can, exhale, hands to heart. Good. Again, inhale, reach up. And exhale. Good, mouth closed. Inhale.
I'm used to breathing out from yoga class.
No worries. Inhale. Mouth closed, exhale through the nose. One more, inhale. Beautiful, exhale. Make it soft and smooth. Inhale, reach up again. And now as you exhale, gently bend your knees, sit your bottom back, just enough. Beautiful. Inhale, reach up, straighten the knees. Exhale, bend. Inhale, reach up, straighten the knees. Exhale, bend. Inhale, reach up. As you bend the knees, bring your hands to the thighs. Let's do that again. Straighten the legs, inhale, reach up. Exhale, bend the knees, sit your bottom back, hands to thighs. Again, inhale, reach up. Exhale, bend the knees, bring the hands to thighs. One more, inhale, reach up. As you exhale, bend the knees, bring your hands to thighs, and hold right here, keep breathing for a moment. We're gonna hold this position. The knees and the feet are relatively aligned, so notice if things are changing, we're breathing. You're gonna hold right here, we should feel muscles working. And now we're going to move through the spine. Look at something ahead of you that's not moving. We're gonna inhale, extend, lift your chest and lift your tailbone, arch your spine. Exhale, flex round, mouth closed. Inhale, extend. Exhale, flex round in the spine. Inhale, extend. Exhale, flex round, mouth closed. Inhale, extend. Check your knees and feet. Exhale, flex round. Now inhale, sweep all the way up. Standing mountain, arms overhead. Inhale and exhale. And take rest for a moment. Okay. How does that feel?
Pretty good.
What we're doing is, and now we're not done yet because we gotta get down, we're gonna get up. A couple of things that you may have noticed as I said. Now, is it the worst thing on the planet that you breathe through the mouth? No, but in my world, I use the breath for many things. One of them is we're gonna measure time with it. And after a bit, we'll be in a posture and I'll say, hold this for 3 breaths, 5 breaths. This way you don't need a watch, you don't need anything. So how long should I be in this stretch? 3 breaths, 5 breaths, 10 breaths. We use the breath to monitor intensity. This one's really important to me because we're trying to get the nervous system to down-regulate so that whatever you're doing, the body goes, this is good. Even when it's hard, even more important, when it's hard.
No.
So we're using the breath for that, and so my cues for you when you were breathing through the mouth, again, this isn't a judgment, and this doesn't say, I'm not saying that mouth breathing, exhaling through the mouth is wrong, it's different. What I'm teaching us is to think, okay, mouth closed breathing through the nose, that takes focus, concentration, and it shows us when we're doing something that's a little harder or something that we're not ready for yet. The first thing that I see people do is, or mouth opens and then they're just breathing in and out through the mouth. So,
I've forgotten breathed out through the mouth a few
and
times.
because you have different experiences, very common response. So it's not wrong or bad and you don't suck at this, it's just what it is.
I won't do the guy thing on it.
So this practice is going to ask you to do something that's a little different, which is also great for the nervous system because it's like, whoa, wait, what do I have to do now? Okay, up, doing the yoga, front mouth is closed, breathing focus, which is great. So we measure intensity. When or if the breath gets harder, or then we know working too hard, or working too hard, or working too hard. So I'll ask an individual to do a little bit less, or bring your attention to your breath because it was one of those lapses. No worries.
Well, it's an intention thing because we've been doing breathing in and out through the mouth. And the other thing is, I didn't breathe through my nose until I was 18 years old, so
Right.
I fought it my whole life.
Yes, and so this is also a really important thing that you're talking about because very many people don't use their nose, which is the most efficient. Right. All right, so now we're going to continue. We just finished doing this. Now get the feet a little bit wider. They'll get about as wide as the mat. So get as wide as you need to because we're going to continue with our Therapeutic Sun Salutation. Inhale, reach up. As you exhale, bend the knees, sit your bottom back. We're going for that squat. Yeah, you know we had something in common. Love the squat. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, sit back. Sit back. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, sit back. Keep going. Inhale, reach up. If it feels honorable to you, bend the knees, touch the mat, bend. Sweep all the way up. Widen the legs if they can. When you bend, open the thighs out. Good. Again, inhale, reach up. Exhale, bend. All right, here we go. Inhale, reach all the way up. As you exhale, bend the knees, keep breathing, mouth closed, place the hands down onto the mat, wide fingers and palms. You can walk them forward, push the floor away, strong, push the floor away, step the feet back, downward dog, so butt in the air, knees pretty straight, wide fingers and palms. So in this
No
position,
heels on the ground though.
nah, they don't have to ever touch the mat. Breathe 2, see if those knees can get a little bit straighter. Breathe 3, take a look at those knees, open them out a little bit. Breathe 4. And 5. Bend your knees, drop your knees down to the mat, breathe. Point your toes, plantar flex the ankles. Sit your bottom back, forehead can rest on the crossed forearms. Breathe, find a position that is honorable for you. Keep the breath. So in this position,
I love this position.
nice. I love it too because
It just feels right.
it mobilizes the spine, it mobilizes the hip, it mobilizes the knee joint, stretches the quads, stretches the anterior tib muscles. It's a beautiful posture, but it's not easy. They call it child's pose is the easy pose. No, it's not. But functionally, ooh, baby, it is magic. So right now, as you're lying here in this position, listening to the sensation of your breath, I want you to notice, for many of us in this position, breathing's not nearly that easy because we're compressed in the abdomen. So just do the best you can. Now we're going to get ready to get onto what I call quadruped. I'm not the only one who calls it, 4-footed position. And a moment ago, when you got on your hands and knees, I made a quick reference to wide fingers and palms. Earlier when you were standing, I said, ball of the foot and heel. So Ralph, let me show you, take a peek at this. I refer to the palm, ball of the hand, thumb attaches, finger here, and the heel of the hand. And in our work, I tend to encourage us to use what I also like to call jazz hands. It's not common or traditional in yoga, but I use it in our work because all day long, we tend to do a lot of this, and we're always in flexion. We rarely extend and stretch out. So you're going to hear a lot of the ideas that are asking us to widen, stretch, in order to do what we were talking about earlier, which is encourage the nervous system to do something that it knows how to do, but is maybe not in practice. So keep breathing. We're going to widen the fingers and palms. We're going to come up onto the hands and knees. And as you're on your hands and knees, wide fingers and palms, breathe. Nice. Hips relatively over your knees, good. And shoulders, keep breathing, relatively, I'm going to shift you over a little bit, over your hands, good. Hold your position here, breathe. Hey, looks like you changed that finger out a little bit. See what happened there? Okay. Just noticing. Remember, we're all nosy that way.
Oh yeah, it's okay.
So shoulders are going to move down towards your pelvis. The opposite of that is, go ahead and move your shoulders up to your ears. Good, breathe. And now move them down towards your pelvis. You're going to hear a lot of anatomical term from me because if I said shoulders down, well, you might be upside down, and well, then down is up and up is down, and who knows what, right? So breathe.
Where you think that's down.
Yeah. So shoulders down to your pelvis, breathe. Eyes looking towards the mat, breathe. And as the shoulders go down to the pelvis, push the floor away from you and press your upper middle back towards my fingers, good. Now, not really roundedness from here. It's all just, yeah, right here. Push me away. Up, good. Hold. Now we're pushing the floor away. Breathe. And as you're pushing the floor away, I want you to hold this position. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. And if it feels okay to you, curl the toes under. What I mean by curl the toes under is this. Curl the toes under. Push the floor away from you. Curl the toes under, keep breathing, and lift the knees about 1 inch off the mat. We're testing something right now. Breathe 1, hold steady, good. Breathe 2, good. Breathe 3. Breathe 4. Softer. Ooh, and knees down. Hold steady. So what we were doing right now is we were testing the scapulothoracic junction. The area of muscles, very important, that lie between the shoulder blade and your rib cage. This is where upper body strength and stability comes from. Also strength and stability for the cervical, the neck area, and the head. And so that little simple test, you know, looking forward to you sharing that with humans all over the place, is really important because it helps me to know. And by the way, you're looking good. As you continue, you probably do something like this in your day, which is great, looking good. You're pushing the floor away and you're breathing. And over time, if you so choose to use something that, if you're not already doing it, I'm just going to ask you to be even softer with the breath. So again, this is our first time meeting each other and you're just kind of figuring me out. So, but I'm going to always ask for, can you get in your position and just breathe, make it look like nothing. And that's what we're working on. Good, breathe, and the shoulders move down. And then when in the future you want this to be harder, then the knees get even closer to the mat, almost as if they were touching. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Yeah, so knees down. Take a child's pose now. Knees down, sit back, breathe, rest. Cross the forearms.
Seems like that would be really good for shoulder subluxation.
Yeah, and so depending on the individual, they may need other variations or modifications, but what we try to do is we just start by, can you get on your hands and knees? And then from there, you know, and so somebody may not be able to get on their hands and knees because they can't get on the floor, right? So then it's, can you stand up against the wall and put your hands up against the wall and start the process?
Right.
Or maybe their arms don't go all that up high. Can you stand next to the table, which is a very solid table, it's not gonna slide, right?
Right, or a
Safety.
counter.
Or
Right.
a counter, and can you press? Because we want that process. Okay, so now, from that, let's come on to hands and knees again, what we call quadruped. Come back up.
One question.
Yes.
While I'm down like this, always wondering how low your butt's supposed to go. Is you supposed to like try and touch your butt, or is it okay to just be natural, or how high or low?
The more that a person does this, and if their physiology will allow, meaning the quadriceps will be long enough,
Lower.
then the butt will eventually touch the heels. But not for everyone, because it depends. Some people have a bigger butt, so the butt's gonna touch faster. Some people have more mobility here.
I have no
Yeah.
butt, so I'm still that far away.
Yeah, so you know, it's all relative. It could be the quadriceps that have some restriction, most common, but you know, we just go, could be the spine. So no need to force or push, but if you keep doing this, it'll get better. Great question.
Like everything.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, back onto quadruped, hands and knees, breathe, mouth closed, breathing through the nose. If possible, over time, the most common complaint that I ever get about being in yoga with me, or anybody else for that matter, is, Nydia, it hurts my wrists. And I find that because of the daily this and that, the carpal bones, the 10 bones in the wrist here, they get microscopically out of alignment. What I'm teaching and sharing with you right now is designed to therapeutically realign the carpal bones. Now those are strong words, but I believe in them because as a manually trained physical therapist, that means that I snap and pop and do things orthopedically with the joints and the bones. I created this approach so that the most common challenge, people go, well, Nydia, I can't do this because it hurts my wrist. I go, oh, great, I'm glad you're here. Because what we're gonna do, that idea that I asked you for, weight evenness, most people just put weight over here, and that overpressures those carpal bones. So over time, this, and weight shift, not everyone's gonna be able to get the shoulder over the wrist. Some might have to start forward because they still don't have the mobility, the flexibility. But over time, we will get the shoulder over the wrist. Now, as you're pushing, same thing, shoulders down, back of the head ribs to ceiling. Now, leading with your chest and your tailbone, we're gonna inhale, extend the spine, and exhale, flex round through the spine. Again, inhale, extend, exhale, flex round. Good, and the head can go with it if you choose. Inhale, and exhale, flex round. 3 more. Inhale, extend, open the chest, stick your butt out. Exhale, flex round as if you were punched in the gut. Inhale, extend. Exhale, flex round, 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 round. 2 more. Inhale, extend. Sometimes I forget how to count. Exhale, flex round, tuck, 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 tuck. 1 more. Inhale, extend. And exhale, flex round. Okay, here we go. Curl the toes under. We're gonna do the downward dog. So here we go. Push through those arms. Inhale and exhale. Lift your butt in the air. Straighten the knees if they will. Doesn't matter if the heels touch. Breathe one. So come back. Get wider. Get wider. Get wider. Get wider. Come on, feet. Oh, I'm sorry. I was giving you the wrong cue. Longer. Bring your foot back, back, back. Butt in the air. Straighten those knees. Breathe. Hold steady. Let your head drop down. I'm gonna give you a little bit of something here. Pull back. Push back, push back. Good, good. And now when you're ready, knees back down. Child's pose. Rest.
I think my wrists are pretty good because I do planks where I go forward and backward and left and right.
Good. So always keep that awareness. If you hadn't already had it, thumbs, fingers wide, just because. Why not? You know, you get to do it, that way you won't lose it. Beautiful. Okay.
Yeah, I was ignoring the thumb. I did it about there. I can certainly get it here.
Yeah, definitely. Again, the first carpal metacarpal joint is the most arthritic joint I have ever met. Over and over. Now, it could be because of what I do, teaching people yoga. Maybe that's why, but I see it over and over again. And breaks my heart when people say, oh, Nydia, no, I'm not supposed to do that. And I'll say, look, just like you believe, how do you know if you can't do that until you try? And so typically these muscles are weak, they're imbalanced, and arthritis occurs because of that imbalance. So what do we want to do? Move it towards balance. And if worst case scenario, we may not change the arthritic changes that occur. We may not change that at all. But when the muscles are stronger, they're able to support the joint more effectively, create more space, and it could take away some of the discomfort, and that's what we're after.
Yeah, no, I think if you can't do something, that's what you should be working on. The other thing about that carpal tunnel is all of these fingers are connected up here. Everything runs through there.
Yep.
Everything.
Wide fingers and palms. Curl the toes under, breathe. Downward dog. Here we go. Because now we're going to step the feet towards your hands. Breathe. Bend the knees as you step the wide legs. Bend the knees. Get the feet really wide. Breathe. Wide feet. Wide feet. Breathe. Gotta get wide in the feet. Notice where the knees are. They're kind of close. Breathe. Bring the hands to the eyes.
Like that.
I know. I'm messing with you.
No, it's great.
Come on up. Push up, 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 up. Stretch it all the way up.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Good. Good.
Let me touch it for a second.
Good. Breathe. You got it. Up, 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 up. Breathe. Arms over. Good. Nice. And
It's
you
fear.
loosen your arms overhead.
That's it. It's just 100% fear. My feet are, my ankles, my heels are going up and down. Because I've never done that before. My brain's saying, what are you doing?
Come to Tadasana. Come to standing.
Okay.
Take a breath. Okay. Now I want you to see it. I believe in learning all the way from seeing it, touching it, feeling it, doing it. If you can eat it, then you eat it. You taste it, okay?
Now, you said you believe in homework. I always ask for homework, and I insist that the person do it for me, so I can see it. And then I insist on doing it myself, so that I can get muscle memory, which should be called brain memory, not muscle memory.
Exactly.
And then when I get home, I do it about 5 times immediately, see if I can lock it in.
Boom.
And then I've got it.
All right, so I want you to see why
Stop shaking.
I had you do the, from the downward dog to the standing. This is really important, because what's going to happen is, when you're in down dog, eventually I'll get more nitpicky and I'll say feet hip distance apart. No worries. When you get ready to step your feet towards your hands, I ask you to get wide. First, we're going to bend the knees and get wide. You see how I'm going to step out, breathe. Step out, breathe. Now this is on purpose, because I'm either going to walk my feet to my hands, which is scary as all get out, or when I get wide, breathe, I'm going to walk my hands. I'm looking for that squat that we love. Because that squat's going to help you center your gravity. Bend to here, eyes on something, breathe. Then from there, push, find your strength, breathe, keep the breath, take your time, but breathe. Come up, come up, come up, breathe. And then we're going to, and if you do this, that's great, and if you don't, doesn't matter, but getting up. The wide legs is also going to be different for you from what we're just doing. Again, this is our first meeting.
Right.
So you're doing fabulous. But that
Good,
wide
because I'm
leg,
scared.
that wide leg gives you a greater base of support.
Mm-hmm.
So now,
Okay, we don't want it yet.
we can use it right
So-
now. We're getting ready to come down to the floor, so now we're gonna break into the sun
Yeah, I haven't
salutation
done this
already.
I haven't done downward dog from standing yet, I
Right.
believe.
So let's get wide. Well, you kinda did. Here, let's go wide.
Mm-hmm.
Wide in
Wider.
stance.
Okay.
Inhale, reach the arms up. Bend the knees, let's do a squat. Here's the first part. Check those knees. I want you to look at them. Open the thighs out. Thighs out, thighs, there you go. Breathe. Thighs out, hands to mat. Thighs out, thighs out. Good. Hands to mat. And you can shift forward because you've got the strength in your arms. Push the floor away. Now step the feet back. Downward dog. Step the feet back. Go, 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 go. Good. Push, push, push. Beautiful. Nice, Ralph. Lift your tailbone up into the air. Let your chest drop back. Breathe. Good. Now, from here, wide legs. Here we go. Get wide, get wide, get wide, get wide. Get the feet flat. Get the feet flat. Get wide. Bring your hands back. Good. Be wide in your legs. I'm right here. Wide in your legs. Wide in your legs. Wide, 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 wide. Body tall. Body tall. Body tall. Beautiful. And when you're ready, step the feet closer.
Because I knew I could do it, I wasn't scared.
Oh, good
Isn't that
job.
crazy?
No, it's okay.
That's beautiful. That was beautiful. You knew you already had the experience. You're like, okay, but did you?
I've never done downward dog before,
Okay, well, it's looking good.
ever.
It's got some things that could be managed, but we're cool. Now, did you
If
hear
it's
the
perfect,
cue?
I wouldn't be here.
I know. I'm like, dude, why are you here? Did you hear the cue? When you were here, I said, get the legs wide.
Mm-hmm.
Then I said, get the feet down. So
Yeah.
whatever it takes, whether you're gonna do this, or this, get those feet down.
Get the heels down.
Heels down, thank you, heels, more precisely. Because once you did that, your body went, oh yeah, I know this, which is what we want. And if you share this therapeutic, so I'm getting ready in June to share this with the yoga therapist in Illinois, going to a conference. And we're gonna hold of them and I'm gonna teach it to as many people, and that's my goal. So you're helping me do that because this is important.
Good.
All right,
I'm happy to help.
questions?
I'd like to share some.
Questions?
So useful.
Questions for me about what you just did? Okay,
Not really.
all right, so now,
Do it again?
we did that, yeah, we did the hard part. We're gonna do it again, and then we're gonna end up on the mat lying on your back, okay?
Okay.
So let's stand tall, Tadasana, standing mountain, about hip distance apart. Technically, what is hip distance apart? Well, I'm a female and I've got fairly wide hips. So for me, this is not hip distance apart, although it's about the width of my hips. Hip distance apart, if we looked at Frank, our skeleton, but we don't have to, we think about where the femur, the ball and socket, connected to your pelvis, which is right about here. So if I look down to my, I look at my pelvis and my thighs, and I look down, hip distance apart is right about, I'm coming in closer, here,
Oh.
down. Good, all right, so it's kind of like in the front here.
I
And it-
kind of know it's about 10 inches, about the span of my hand.
Yeah, so everybody's a little different, but yeah, all right, you ready?
Mhm.
Standing tall, eyes gazing at point, focus, beautiful. Let's begin. Inhale, reach up. And exhale. Inhale, reach up. Exhale. Inhale, reach up. Exhale. Again, inhale, reach up. This time we're going to bend the knees and you're going to sit back as you exhale. And inhale, straighten the knees, come up. And exhale, bend. Nice, inhale, reach up. When you bend the knees, bring the hands to your thighs and hold. Stay there, keep breathing. On the next inhalation, we're gonna inhale, extend the spine, chest forward, stick your butt out. Exhale, flex round. Keep the thighs from moving. Inhale, extend. Exhale, flex round. This is what you did on your hands and knees, you're just varied. Inhale, extend, good. Exhale, flex round. Check the positioning of the knees and the feet, good. Inhale, extend. Exhale, flex round. Strong through the legs, inhale, sweep all the way up. Sweep all the way up, stretch the arms overhead, inhale. And exhale, hands to heart. Widen the stance. This is the one that's gonna help it make it easier to get down onto the floor. Here's the thing. Hamstring tightness, restrictions at the posterior part of the lower leg typically make it hard. If our feet are too close, then this is like, ah, right? And we don't want that. So we get wide, because now the hamstrings are kind of somewhat out of the way, if they're tight, and we can get down, squat. So here we go, inhale, reach up.
Are you using your
You
glutes
bet we're
more?
using glute. We're using everything, yes. But we're wanting to get the
Typically
hamstring.
wide and keeping your knees apart
Mhm.
helps glutes activate.
Yeah. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, squat. Inhale, reach up. Oh, watch the breath. Inhale. Exhale, sit back. Again, inhale. Exhale. Here we go. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, tap the mat. Widen those thighs. Widen the thighs. Notice how the thighs, right here, knees. Good. Hands down. Again, inhale, sweep up. Widen those legs as you go down.
I get what we're doing. We're actually teaching my knees to go out.
Yes. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, squat, but keeping the feet anchored. Good. There you go. Inhale, reach up. Now, as you exhale, place the hands down, wide fingers and palms, and yes, they can come forward, and yes, you can come off of onto the ball of the feet. Palms firm, breathe. Pull, flat hands, thumbs wide, step back. Lift your butt in the air, feet hip distance, good. Straighten the knees, and hold in this position. Check it out. We want to open the thighs out. We want to, yeah, breathe 2. Lift your tailbone. Breathe 3. If this chest could press back that way, that's what we're looking for. Breathe 4. Breathe 5. Can you straighten those knees? Good. Now, bend your knees. Come down. Good. Shift your body forward. Now we're taking you into place. Good. You can walk the knees back. Bend your elbows. Breathe. Close to your body. Palms firm. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Thighs, belly, chest. Here we go. Breathe, breathe, breathe. I'm just testing you.
Yeah, I know. I'm not very good.
Thighs, belly,
push-ups.
chest. Here we go. You're not going to have to push all the way up. You're just going down.
No, I'm gonna collapse right now because I didn't.
You didn't. Straighten your body out onto the mat.
Okay,
You're
I'm
stuck?
stuck.
Okay.
You're stuck?
Okay. So I was testing you. So that's a half plank, and it's something for us to work on.
Right.
And what's involved in it, it's preparing someone for that whole full plank thing that people do, right? But I'm a conservative.
Well, I can do them. I can go
Yeah.
forwards and left, right, and
But I
I can
want
hold
something
them a minute.
I want something
But I
that's
can't-
very specific, and it's on purpose.
I haven't worked on or been able to do real full blown push-ups.
Okay. So what we're gonna do, how's your end? Yeah, right, I know. So that's why we're gonna go mindfully with this one. Let me show you the direction that we're going in. So you're in quadruped, sit your bottom back, breathe. Walk your hands as far forward as you can and breathe. Now keep the hands there, thumbs, fingers wide. Come up on your hands and knees, notice how the hands are forward, good. Now shift your body forward, hold yourself up, push the floor away, good. Breathe. Shoulders down, Sit back again. We're gonna make an adjustment. As you sit back, sit your bottom back as far as you can. Give me a little, yeah, we're coming in a little bit. There. See how your hands were way forward? That was too far forward. So let yourself be a little more relaxed in there forward. Anchor the hands, breathe. Come onto your hands and knees, breathe. Now, push the floor away. Shift your body forward. Squeeze your butt cheeks. Good. Coming up and over the kneecaps, good. Bend the elbows, I'm gonna be on this side. Close to your body. And lower your thighs, I'm with you. Thighs, belly, chest. Here we go. You got it. Coming down, breathe. Breathe, 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 breathe,
I can't hold it.
breathe, breathe. You don't have to hold it.
Okay,
Good job. Hold right here just for a moment.
okay,
Feel that place. Shoulders pull
Okay.
back and down.
Yep.
Thumbs, fingers wide.
Yep.
Push the floor away. Now hold right here. You don't have to lift up, but I want you to push the floor like you were lifting. Hold right there. Breathe. Breathe. Push. Breathe. Hold
that's
right
like,
there. Breathe.
like a McGill crunch.
We are doing a tricep press. Push, push, and hold. Breathe. Hold right there. You don't have to go up high. In fact, stay down low. Stay right there. Push. Breathe as if your life depended on it. Don't lift
You
up.
don't move your neck, right?
You're not moving a thing. You're
Right.
holding there. Now, bend your knees. I'm going to mess with you. Put your weight on front of those thighs, right here at the bottom. Now hold right there. Breathe. And push through your thighs. Push and think about lifting this. Breathe, 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 breathe. You're not breathing. And rest. Okay. We just did more than I was intending to do with you, but dude, you've got it going on, so this is our chance to work together, that I'm going for it to give you some homework.
Cool.
And since we're recording this is awesome because then you can go play with it again. Do you see what we're up to and when we got into this? Okay, now go ahead and push your butt back and sit back.
Almost had.
Yeah, almost. Something to work on. No
But you
worries.
want to do it through strength. I was doing it somewhat through momentum.
So, the idea is you don't have to try to do this right away. What I want you to do is now, however you need to, come onto your abdomen, cross your forearms, and lay on your stomach, like that. Breathe. Cross your forearms, breathe. Rest your forehead down, breathe. Stretch your legs away from your center, breathe. Squeeze the ankles together if they will, breathe. Move your shoulders away from your ears, shoulders to pelvis, breathe, beautiful. We haven't even worked on the breath yet, so after a little bit we're going to work on the breath, but for now I want to take you through your preparation for this half plank low or slow lower half plank thing. From this position as you're lying here breathing, shoulders to pelvis, strong legs, squeeze the glutes, why not? Come, slide your hands alongside your body on the mat, elbows up high. Forehead could touch the mat or you could be, there you go, good. And I'm going to ask you to bring these hands even further, there you go, breathe. Because if possible, and that's why we were doing the other wrist stuff on their hands and knees, because we need, person can't do this if they don't have this range, breathe. And I know that makes sense to you. So right here, this is how you're going to sneak into this posture to prepare for it.
Okay.
Now as you're breathing, shoulders to pelvis, push the hands into the mat, breathe. You do not have to lift a thing, but that's beautiful, right there is good. Yeah, press, breathe. You don't have to lift high, just press, breathe. Do the work, hold right there, breathe. So
Am I
now
breathing in when I push or out?
you're breathing and holding there. So now keep breathing.
In?
Just breathe, breathe. Stay there. Nope, I want you to stay there. Breathe. Stay, breathe. Stay, breathe. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Smoother. Only press as much as you can breathe and you can feel it. Breathe, 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 because this is all core activation, everything. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Now take rest. And remove your arms and rest your arms underneath your cross them underneath, forehead over the crossed arms. So bring your arms back over here. Breathe. Rest, let it go. Question about what we just did.
I always get confused about the breathing in and out.
So what I'm asking
typically,
you
you
for,
tend to.
we're doing an isometric.
Mhm.
We're just gonna hold in position and you're just going to breathe. Now, if you want my opinion about my favorite, whenever we're exerting the body, I like to exhale on exertion. And the reason that makes it easier for us to get the air out instead of going, and so we'll exhale, exhale, exhale. I like to inhale, inhale, but you could inhale on the other way. It's just a matter, at the end of the day, I like us to breathe.
Well, when you're learning something, I'm a big believer in learning it right, because I found bad habits are harder to break than good habits are harder to make.
Yeah. So right now, what we're doing, now I want you to change your position so that you can observe me. So come up, do whatever you need to do to observe. So what we're doing is we're preparing for what I call half plank. And this is how it starts. You got down on the floor, whether you did your sun salutation or not. You sat back into child's pose, took a few breaths. Then you reached your arms forward, but not so far. See how your butt was kind of lifted?
Mm-hmm.
Just reach them forward enough. The reason, elbow might be slightly bent, because if you go too far and you come up, when you come to here, your hands are not going to be in the optimum alignment to help you make this easier. When my hands, see where they are right there?
Mm-hmm.
So when they came to here, and I shift forward, now when I come here and my elbows bend, I'm getting close to my elbow being relatively aligned with my wrist.
Your back and butt are flatter. You have less arch and less butt sticking out.
Yeah. And so we're just trying to press the pelvis forward,
That's
drop
like
down.
flat.
Now, this is your preparation for that which will be in the future. How to get ready for that thing is to do what we just did. You are here, breathe, breathe. Then you come to here. This is too high. That's right next to your pecs. I need it next to your ribs. Squeeze the shoulders, press. Now you're still gonna be active to your thighs, and you're just gonna press and breathe one. Breathe two. I'm not really interested in this. I'm just interested in teach the nervous system and the muscles how to engage here. Breathe, 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 and then over time, when you do that a little bit more, then maybe a lift, and then down. Shoulders away from ears. Come back down again. The hands are not in optimum position. Yes, and this is going to be tough because it's about next to your ribs over here.
It feels a little low, but I can learn and get used to it.
Slowly, and that's why there's no rush.
Right.
Questions about what we're doing. And one day, when it's time, you're going to call me up and we're going to set a little session where we do like a video session, and you'll say, okay, or you come back in town and you say, Nydia, I'm ready, now show me this other stuff.
Okay.
When you're ready, roll over onto your spine. Breathe. Breathe
Roll
while you're
over onto
going.
my back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Not the simplest thing.
Breathe while you're doing it. Bend your knees, lie on your spine. So Ralph, here's where I like to use, good.
I'm a big believer in symmetry.
Me too. Best as we can. Although every time I see myself on video, I'm a little bit of this. But hey, we're all gonna be a little bit off. That's okay.
Well, it's just like perfection. You can't reach it, but you try for it.
We're going to use the floor, the mat, as a template to help you identify the closest neutral alignment for you. Earlier, yes, not about perfection because we're all a little different and things are a little bit whatever, that's fine, but we're going to work towards that, and we're using the floor to help you rest or chill out in close to neutral. I get a lot of information by watching somebody who lies on the mat like this. When someone is really tight in their thorax or in their neck, then sometimes I'll see they lie down and they're like this, and it's because, okay. And if that's happening, this is for your information because I know that you're guiding others, they might need a little support in the head, and they might need a 1 or 2 inch block that helps them, because if they're here, and I'm going to over exaggerate, and their neck is up here and they're like, that's all I can do, this is too stressful. So occasionally, and I'm just going to use the my little tools as an example, then I would help that person by maybe, lift your head up, placing, and what I'm looking at is I'm looking to make certain that they're not working so hard in the neck. If they're like, then they can't relax and they're uncomfortable. Now, here's the cool part about this practice is that whenever I have somebody like that, depends on the person, I'll start them if they need this 2 inches, and then I'll say, okay, after about 10, 15 minutes of doing some breathing and some stuff, then I'll go, oh, here, lift your head up, and I'll take it, and I'll maybe take them down to 1 inch. And they're like, wow, that feels okay. It's not magic, it's just the body beginning to trust. The body beginning to let go, which is really important. That doesn't always happen. Some people, I had a gentleman who 6 inch, you see that giant block, those blocks that I have? When he lied down on his back, we needed 6 inches to put underneath his head. Yikes. But here's the cool part. He was determined. He was very similar to you, sir. He did the work. It took him 2 years, flat. He also lost 60 pounds in that course. He also reduced his blood sugar so that now he was not a diabetic in the sense where he had been taking metformin and things like that. So it wasn't, reversing.
Quite insulin, yeah, but pre-diabetic.
Correct.
Headed on the diabetic bus.
All right, so that was just a little aside. But
So I have a question. When I'm in a position like this, I basically try, I don't know if this is right, this is a question. I'm trying to stick my backbone, my shoulders, my head, everything into the mat flat.
So I want, the more so than just your spine, like your central spine, your backbone that way. Okay. So I want you to bring your attention. First, we want to make sure the t-shirt's not killing you, so it's not, it looks good. Is let the head press into the mat. Eyes gazing at the ceiling, breathe. This is when you realize you are in a garage. Because there's your house, like, Mouth closed, breathing through the nose. A little bit of a tuck of the chin just to lengthen the back of the neck out. Not so much that it makes you do this, but just enough where you can lengthen. Now bring your awareness to your shoulder blades, and we're going to draw the shoulders back. This sounds familiar, we did it in standing. And move the shoulders down towards the pelvis. The fingers might walk alongside. Notice the farther that you walk those hands down, they start coming forward again. So only walk them down as far as the shoulders can go back. And as you're breathing, then you might notice relative balance right to left, maybe.
No, I feel balanced.
When you did that though, and the shoulders went down, did you notice the place opposite of here in your upper middle back might have arched off the back?
It did a little bit, yes it did.
So if that happens, then I want you to tuck the chin, breathe, shoulders back and down, and now visualize that place between your shoulder blades and very gently invite it down towards the mat. It doesn't have to be completely flat, but you're just pressing awareness down so that it doesn't just go flying off. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and when I did that, I noticed I was holding a lot of tension.
Okay. So we just go to where you can, find your breath. This is where the
I
breath
let go
is
of the tension and dropped a good bit.
Good. Now, check in with your pelvis, your hips, and notice, now I'm going to give a little view here.
Yeah, I don't think my knees are straight.
Step your left foot out to the left side a little bit more. Good. And kind of create that symmetry. There's almost like the hips are going to the right, so shift your hips, the whole lower body just a little bit, good, and walk your left foot out to the left side a little bit. And this one's harder because when you're on your own doing this,
Can't see it.
yeah. So this is where, when you get permission to get one of those mirrors on the ceiling and people look at you like you're a freak, you'll say, oh no, dude, I'm just checking out my intensity there, you know? They'll be like, hey, and nothing wrong with having a mirror on the ceiling, it's multi-purposeful, right? There you go, so I'm just gonna say it that way. All right, so now we're going to, just like when you're in standing, weight even between the right and the left foot, breathe. Even between the ball of the foot and the heel, breathe. Lift the toes up to feel the activation, so not the whole ball of the foot, just the toes. The activation of the muscular arch, breathe. And then stretch the toes out and let them rest down, breathe. Feel the weight, press the feet into the mat, breathe. As the shoulders are back and down, wide fingers and palms, we're gonna do a therapeutic bridge. You've done bridges in your life. Let's see if you've done one like this. Thumbs, fingers wide, breathe. Strong arms. Press the hands into the mat, breathe. Press the back of the head into the mat, breathe.
It's funny, when I press my hands, my head went at the same time.
So head, hands. Press the feet into the mat, breathe. Engage your glutes, breathe. You're pressing the head, the hands, the feet, squeeze the glutes, breathe.
Belly button to spine.
Keep breathing. Squeeze the glutes and lift the hips, keep pressing through the arms. Lift the hips as high as they want to, keep the feet in alignment, breathe, hold, keep pressing. Breathe, 1, do not let me lift you up, good. Breathe, 2. Breathe, can't hear you. Thank you. 3, smooth it out. Smoother, because I know you know a bridge, but smoother in the breath. Good.
You have to feel real comfortable before you get rid of that tension that overrides your breath.
Exactly. Slow, lower, keep breathing.
Slow, lower?
Yep, just lower the hips down, keep the arms working, keep everything working. Breathe, breathe, breathe. It doesn't have to be that slow. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Keep breathing.
Well, I believe it's all about the down.
And take rest. It is, so you can, but, you know, at another time. Right now, just lower so that you can take rest. Because there's nothing, oh, I love that. I've been doing my rain dance, man. It's all on me. Okay, so that's my bridge. My bridge is about everything. We're turning on all of the muscles, the structures on your backside body. Really important. And it's fabulous for opening up the pecs, opening up the front side body, giving a stretch to the quads, everything, engaging the glutes, you name it. So this is bridge, lots of muscular activation. While you were doing that, were you able to think of anything else?
No, I was intentionally concentrating on form.
Welcome to my world. This is the way that I introduce people to meditation. Listen to your breath, focus on your breath. Arms, shoulders, shoulders. Perfect.
I was trying to feel mindful and comfortable about all the different parts of my body so that I would so it would feel natural enough to breathe more naturally. Because I felt like that all of the energy I was focusing on making sure all the different parts were right was taken away from my breath. So once I felt it and hit it, I tried to minimize those and concentrate on my breath. And one of the things that happened to me, a friend of mine is a rolfer and massage therapist said that I don't breathe as well. My left diaphragm doesn't work as well as my right.
We're about to go there.
Okay.
Okay, so now, with practice, you can make this smoother because you know that other things that you've practiced, you can get them smoother. Now, the wrench that I'm throwing into your basket is make the breath smooth. That's the most important thing. The other stuff will come with practice. All right, so now.
One of the things I would do naturally would be to lay here
and try to get my breath as smooth as possible so I could sort of get my brain on autopilot before I throw a wrench in this basket, as you put it.
There you go. So now, guess what?
We're gonna do it again.
Nope.
Yeah.
We're gonna go do that breathing thing. Say, I'm doing everything backwards for you because I'm making it harder. You ready? Take rest.
Game.
So now, here you are, you're lying down, you're breathing, mouth closed, breathing with the nose. Feel your head, your shoulders relatively level on the mat, your pelvis. For many of us, there'll be a little space beneath our low back. That's beautiful. Keep it there. There's no need to push the low back into the mat. You just breathe. Now I want you to bring your right hand onto your lower abdomen and allow your right elbow to rest. Everything's just resting. Breathe. There's no need to force or push. I just want you to notice. When you inhale and exhale, just notice any movement in your belly. When we inhale, we might notice the belly rise. When we exhale, it might fall. Once again, as soon as someone says, pay attention to your breath, then we start to change it. But you know, that's just normal. For now, just notice. Notice what you feel. Inhale, belly rises. Exhale, belly falls. No need to force or push. Keep your elbows where they are. Bring your left hand to your rib cage. Same thing. You're lying here, you're breathing. Notice that when you inhale, the belly rises and the ribs might expand a little bit. Just notice. No need to make anything happen, just pay attention. Soft and rhythmic breathing. After a few breaths, we're doing the shortened version, but for now, then you bring your right hand to your upper chest. Still elbow, shoulders, everybody resting. And just notice that when you inhale, the belly rises, the ribs and the chest might expand, and when you exhale, everything drops. Just notice what you feel. Now for our purposes, I want to give you a little information that you probably have good stuff about already, but I'm going to repeat it because it's good for our little adventure. The diaphragm is a beautiful muscle that originates from the inside of your rib cage all the way around. It connects into itself. It has its own central tendon, and that tendon, it's one of two muscles in the body that all muscles originate at a point, like bone, and they attach typically on another bone. The diaphragm and a muscle up in your jaw area, small one, actually, diaphragm originates along the ribs and it attaches into its own central tendon of connective tissue. This diaphragm is the divider between your thoracic cavity, your rib cage area, and your abdominal cavity. Keep breathing. This diaphragm has three very important holes. The esophagus has to go through, down from the throat, esophagus to the stomach. The aorta, very important artery, and the inferior vena cava. So those three apertures, or those three holes, allow for that transition of structures to go through. And then there's some nerves that also kind of go through around the esophageal area. And interestingly enough, there's a lot of other things. I remember that 10th cranial nerve, we talked about the vagus nerve. So there's some structures, nerves that are also coming along through there. While you're here breathing, feeling the belly and the ribs and the chest rise, that diaphragm is waiting for a message from your brain. The brain is sensing the oxygen saturation in your tissues. And when it decides, oh, I think I need more oxygen, it will send a message, because it's sensing that, it's like, oh, it's time to breathe, a message down that 10th cranial nerve, the vagus, and it'll then stimulate the diaphragm to contract. When the diaphragm contracts, it shortens, it drops down into your abdominal cavity. And because there's a stomach and some guts and some pelvic organs in there, typically when the diaphragm contracts, the belly will rise. And then Diaphragm is pushing on those contents. When you inhale, belly rises, and then when the diaphragm relaxes, everything drops because the pressure's off. Now, while that's happening, because of the origination of the diaphragm on your rib cage, when the diaphragm contracts and goes down, the ribs might also expand outward. Now, when the diaphragm goes down, it creates space for your lungs. The lungs work on a system of what I like to refer to, and other people refer to, as negative pressure. So the pressure level within the lungs is actually lower than the atmospheric pressure out here. So we don't have to, how shall I say, the lungs will automatically be breathed.
They'll fill if you allow air in.
And so if we change the pressure gradient, and when the diaphragm gets stimulated to drop down, there's the change. So higher pressure goes into the lower pressure, there's more space. So we should see the belly rise, the ribs move, and the chest rise. Now here's the come to Jesus and or whoever you want to say, that right now, dude, you're not moving very well. And so one of the ways that I want to help to encourage you to practice mobilizing the thorax is not to focus on a deep inhalation, but rather normal breath in. And then when you're ready to exhale, we squeeze the belly, squeeze the ribs, squeeze the chest. Whenever you're ready, normal breath in. And now squeeze the ribs, squeeze the belly, squeeze the chest. Normal breath in, just let it go, good. Squeeze the belly, ribs, and chest. There you go, keep going, normal breath. Belly, ribs, chest, squeeze, squeeze. Normal in. Squeeze the ribs, belly, chest. Keep going. Nice awareness of your legs. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And now we're seeing some movement. Keep going. So when I ask you to do your breathing exercise, I'm going to ask you to lie down, to check in with your body, place your hands on your abdomen or ribs or chest, and I'm going to ask you to focus on normal inhalation and then lengthen the exhale. The exhale doesn't have to be hard. Let it be soft, but it can be long and squeeze, 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 squeeze. Good, keep going, just a few more. Now there's something that I do have to say that's about energetics. Keep breathing. That when an individual, for whatever reason, and there can be many reasons why an individual is restricted in this area. For men, a lot of the times, pectoralis major is really tight, postural habits, stuff like this. There's many reasons why a person can be tighter in this area and why they don't move very much. Something that's very important for me to share with you, and I will want you to be aware of, is that keep breathing, keep doing the work. That when we start to have someone move this very precious area, this fortress, this bony structure protects some of the most critical organs in your body, the heart, the lungs. If something happens to those, we're in trouble. So as a mammal, physiologically, we try to protect this area with everything we've got. Now, this is not a full-fledged counseling or psychological evaluation, but I will tell you that when a person starts to move this area, some individuals will begin to feel emotion. Some people might feel joy, like woo. Some people might feel sadness. There's so many different responses. People don't really talk about this stuff very much. And so I want you to be aware of it. One, you didn't fail at your work if you felt nothing after this. Two, if you do feel something, then that's normal too. Every person's different. This is one of the reasons why, although it's very popular for people to start doing some pretty extreme breathing practices, which because you're a learner, you may be tempted to go and start reading and doing all sorts of breathing things. I'm going to ask you to be slow and gentle. More is just more. It's not always better. And sometimes that more, especially if we're teaching this to someone that we don't really know their whole history, sometimes that more can be too much and it could knock them into a place that we don't want them to be, they don't want to be at, they're not ready, and we are not ready to help them there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I call it, even though women do it, some, I call it guy thinking. The more is more,
Yes.
bigger is better.
Right. And so be gentle with this. Take your time. The homework that I'm also going to give you some links to is actually starts with this. And then we do bridge. And then we do all the other stuff. But I started you in a different way because I wanted you at a disadvantage. I'm speaking directly now. I wanted to see, what do you do when I get you to do this sun salutation up here and I haven't even asked you to breathe other than just keep breathing, but we haven't really looked at this. I want to see what's happening. And I got to see it. You got to see it too because you like to study your body that way. And so now, the big idea behind this soft, gentle breathing with, over time, motion through the rib cage, the thorax, is that I want you to then focus your attention on this rhythmic breathing. Now bring your arms right alongside your body. Draw the shoulders back and down, breathe. Press the back of the head into the mat. Now bring your awareness to that breath that you're using where you're, nice, gentle movement. Thumbs, fingers wide, press the hands into the mat, breathe. Press the feet into the mat, find your position. Lengthen, beautiful, the back of the head and neck, breathe. Keep breathing, keep the breath smooth, press those arms into the mat, breathe. Firm the buttocks, breathe. Firm the buttocks, press through the feet and squeeze and lift the hips up. Only go as far as you can breathe, because it doesn't matter how much, just breathe. Your focus is on the breath. I like what I'm seeing. Beautiful. Keep breathing. And maybe we'll go for 3 breaths. Let's go 1 more breath. And now slowly lower when you're ready, because we're going to keep going. Keep breathing. Draw your right knee, breathe, into your chest while you're lying down. Breathe. Hold on with your arms. Breathe. Bring your awareness to your shoulders. Lengthen your head and neck. Breathe. Stretch your left leg, straighten it out onto the mat. Firm the left thigh, firm the left buttock. Dorsiflex your left ankle. So other direction, lift the toes towards you. There you go. Push, breathe. Firm this butt cheek, breathe. Good. We hold this for, we're going to do the short version. Right now we're just a few breaths. Sometimes we do it for 5. Now, keep your left arm holding onto your right thigh, breathe. Put your right arm on the mat right alongside you, about 45 degrees. Bring it out. There you go. This position is important. Nice jazz hands, beautiful. Because I want you to anchor the shoulder down and breathe. Now from here, we're going to invite, while you're breathing first, that right thigh to move across your body. Energize through that left thigh. You can go as far as you can breathe. Look over that right shoulder, breathe. Anchoring down, breathe. Good. You can go and you'll notice that breathing is not nearly as easy when you are trying to twist, breathe. Feel the influence.
I don't know how far I can go.
That's good enough, breathe. You only go as far as you can breathe and you feel something and it feels relatively good. Breathe. Good. Now we're going through the short program. Keep breathing. I'm going to get us
It's a good lumbar stretch.
Yes, sir. Breathe. Now, as you're breathing, we're going to inhale and exhale. Bring that right thigh back. Keep breathing.
Bring it back.
Back to vertical. Breathe. Keep breathing. Take this strap. Breathe. And take it around. Loop it around the ball of your right foot. Taking both hands. One hand on one side, one on the other. Breathe in the transition. Keep breathing. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Can't hear you. Thank you. Push that. Now we're holding on right and left hand with straps. So they're separate. And this is on purpose. So I don't want you to miss this. Holding on right in the left hand, you're going to push that right leg as straight as it'll go. Shoulders are back and down. Head and neck are anchored. We're doing this on purpose. Now, you're going to straighten this right knee as straight as you can. Even straighter. That's not straight enough for me. Go,
Okay,
go,
so
go.
I can let go of the, I can lay
Give it
down
some
on the,
slack. Give it some slack. Keep going. Go, go, go. I want you to set your quad. Breathe. Lift your toes towards your nose. Breathe. Come on, even more. Go, 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 go.
I'm getting this like incredible stretch behind my knee.
So give it some more slack because I want this knee to be really straight.
Okay.
Breathe. Doesn't matter to me how close it is. It matters to me that you're engaging quad. Breathe. And you're holding onto the straps separately because you're going to work your shoulder girdle while you're holding on. Does that make sense? So this isn't, so it's down and back. You're just holding there. Breathe. There may be a little bend of the elbow, but we're not doing this to hold that strap. Breathe. Make a muscle. Firm, firm. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And now when you're ready.
Back my knees quieted down.
Good. And now when you're ready, release, bend your knee, hug the knee into chest, breathe. In the transition, breathe, breathe. Hello. Thank you. Hold on to that knee, breathe. Now bring your left knee into your chest, breathe. Also.
Both of them, okay.
Breathe. Allow that right foot to come down, breathe. Keep breathing, can't hear you. Shoulders back and down, check in, straighten that right leg out, firm the right thigh, the right buttock, dorsiflex that ankle. So there you go, nice, breathe. Check your neck, shoulders. Here's the thing, keep breathing. What's happening along the back of your hamstrings, your calves, all of that, the connective tissue will influence your lumbar, your thoracic, and your cervical spine. So this is one of the reasons why the knee comes to chest and this happens. So I want you to only bring the knee in as close as you can. Breathe. Good. Check your t-shirt. There you go. Breathe. Then from here, left hand comes down onto the mat. Right hand holds onto your thigh. Breathe. And I'm going to give you a pointer here. I kind of showed it on that side. This arm will be about 45 degrees. And you're going to be anchored, breathe. Most common thing that people do is they bring the arm way out here, which is not wrong, but it just makes it more difficult to anchor the shoulder girdle down. So I prefer about 45, give or take, breathe. Thigh across the body, breathe. Look over your left shoulder, breathe. This way. Go to the place where you feel a glute stretch, maybe a lumbar stable.
I'm getting a much stronger glute stretch on my on this side, my affected side, which probably shouldn't surprise me. It's hard to do 11 things right at the same time and remember them all.
And that's why we're recording, and that's why also when I give this homework, I do it on purpose. I give the recordings because there's a lot that I'm asking for. The most important thing is breathe. Use the breath to help you know. Because the biggest question is, well, you know, if it looks good, a lot must be better. No, it's not. That we're trying to convince the nervous system that what you're doing is a good idea. And one of the ways to do that is to down-regulate, to get the breath, increase the oxygenation, kind of get the body going, you know, I can feel that stretch in the back of my butt. It's so, but man, I'm getting all this oxygen. And the nervous system is going, it's a little bit uncomfortable, but I can breathe. I got this oxygen. This must be good. Keep breathing. Come back center. Find your strap as you're breathing. Transitional movements are very important. This is the place where we'll go, and I want you to breathe. Inhale and exhale. Take that strap around the ball of that left foot. Breathe. Keep breathing. Push that knee as straight as it'll go. Hold on, right and left hand. Right. Breathe. Okay. Breathe. Tuck the chin. Lengthen the back of the neck. Shoulders back and down. If it feels better, because we're getting a little bit of extra arching here, you can bend that right knee, but so you decide. Because it'll give you a little bit more control. You decide. Breathe. Good. Keep going. I'm going to adjust here for a minute. Good. Firm, firm, firm. Set quad. Now notice, right thigh, left thigh is a little bit to the midline, and I want you to just bring it out.
Yeah, it tends to do that.
And so you're going to work on helping it not do that.
Well, I'll just, I'm
Good.
working on memorizing where that is.
Tuck the chin, lengthen the back of the neck, breathe. Keep breathing. Softer.
That was frustration breath.
And then when you're ready, bend that knee, hug it in close. Breathe, go slow, smooth.
Yeah, I'm gonna try
That's
that
okay,
again.
good. Keep breathing.
This leg sometimes doesn't like to do nice, slow. That's
So
hold it in the midline. There we go.
You just set a very powerful intention, sir. Did you hear yourself?
Well, no.
This leg sometimes doesn't like to. Excuse me? How about this leg is working on?
It's like, yeah, no, I never call it a bad leg or a bad arm. It's in transition.
So, yeah.
I'm still working, 14 years out, I'm still working on.
And you're going to be stronger in the next 10 years, dude. The way that you're going, it's a beautiful thing. So I have, one of my other mantras is set your intention to create your reality. And the work that I have here along this wall is the work of Patty Skemmerhorn, who is one of my students. She does the HEB bags, if you've not seen them. And find your breath is one of my mantras, the words that I use in class. Set your intention to create your reality. So this leg does or is gradually working towards staying aligned. This practice should feel good, and I am in training for my next decade. Bend both knees, hug them in close, breathe. Lengthen the back of the neck, breathe. Place the right foot down and then the left foot down onto the mat, breathe. Press your arms into the mat, breathe. Lift your hips up, breathe. Lift them up as high as they'll go, breathe. Get that blanket underneath your hips, breathe. And lower the hips down, breathe. This is supported legs up the wall. Does that feel okay?
Mm-hmm.
The low back will
Easy.
get a big stretch. It should feel good. Now draw one knee into your chest, breathe. Breathe. Bring the other knee into your chest, breathe. If that feels good, breathe. Straighten one leg up into the air. And then the other, breathe. Now, what we're doing is a test here. If it's
Mine
hard,
look nothing like hers.
if it feels like work to have those legs up there, then you'll really benefit from having these legs up against the wall. The benefit of the blanket is that it supports you, or you could let the knees bend towards you, let the knees drop. Because what we want to do is begin to get you upside down. As long as you don't have uncontrolled high blood pressure or glaucoma or detached retina where a doc has told you, don't be getting upside down, then many individuals can do this variation. If it's hard work, as I mentioned earlier, straighten the legs out. If you're working hard to hold them up, then this is not relaxing. That's when I'll pretend to be your wall, straighten the legs out, I'm the wall, put your legs up against the wall, now rest. Just let them be.
That's easy.
That I would prefer. Or put your legs up on like a couch or a piece of really solid furniture. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So that you can really rest. If you don't have anything else, you know that you can't, then the knees bend. Go ahead and bend the knees. And you just want to begin to get upside down.
Even this is easy.
Good. So if this feels good, then you could just do this if you didn't have the wall next to you. Let's say that you were in a group class.
You can also work towards this.
Because
I
as
would
you...
assume that you practice here, then work to here, then work to here, and then try and work. See, when I get past about here, I'm starting to strain and I'm
Right.
getting shake,
Right.
which to me says stop, work
Exactly.
below the range.
Good. Now bring one leg down, then the other. Good. Lift your hips up off the blanket, breathe. Move the blanket. Good, breathe. Rest down. Stretch your arms and legs out. Palms up. Close your eyes. Rest. Let go of all muscular effort. legs, head, shoulders. Let them drop. Keep your awareness on that sensation of movement, how the belly rises and falls. Without controlling it, just breathe. Very gently. Bringing awareness to your fingers and your toes. Just noticing where they are. Flexing the hands and the fingers, making a little fist, just gently. Nice. Circling the wrists just enough, and the ankles. Bringing awareness to your body. The resting practice is very important. We call it Shavasana. It's not to be scrimped on. It's tempting to get the workout in and say, okay, now I'm off. I'm going to ask and encourage you to make time to allow yourself to just rest at the end of any practice. Gently bend the knees, allowing your body to now move a little bit.
worked hard. Mhm. Strong, strong man. Fortunately for me, the little birds that I contracted with, they showed up for our resting time. I pay them in birdseed. Stretch your arms now, reach them overhead. Inhale, stretch it out. Ah, gently bend the knees. While you're lying, bending the knees.
It's funny, when I was doing that, I started to lose parts of my body. Like, I don't know how to describe it, lack of proprioception.
Okay.
Like, they aren't there. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing.
Good thing.
Good thing, okay.
You're letting go.
That's what I kind of felt like. As I let go, I became more and more aware that I wasn't aware. Can you say that? I became more and more aware that I wasn't aware of my body.
Yeah.
Okay.
When you're ready, roll on to your side.
Lying to my side. Should I be looking at you or either side? This one's easier to roll to.
Good. And come on to your hands and knees.
Okay.
Take your time.
Yep.
Breathe. Push the hands into the mat.
I thought we were
Downward
gonna
dog.
get up. Somehow I knew.
Push the hands.
Mm-hmm.
Lift the knees. Breathe.
Walk them back.
Widen the stance. Get
Wide
wide.
stance.
Breathe.
Either come forward.
Mhm. Wide legs, wide feet. Breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
There. Oh.
Breathe. Breathe. Take your time. Put your gaze on something that's not moving. Catch your bearings. Breathe.
Yeah, that foot. There we go. Now you should be able to do this.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Strong to the legs. Body tall. Breathe. Focus. And when you're ready, bring your feet back. Body tall. Inhale, reach
Lower
the arms
back,
up.
drop them.
Good job.
Namaste.
Namaste. Sir, you rock.
Well,
You did
thanks.
it. This was really hard work. And you have the strength for it. You have everything that you need to do this practice. What do you think?
So it's encouraging, you know, because I don't have an education. I think I'm a hack. I think I'm a bit of an imposter. It's all in the mind, you know, as Ringo once said.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, it's from Yellow Submarine. Oh, it's all in the mind, you know. And in the breathing.
Yeah.
That was really good for me, breath-wise.